pretty similar in the way that they're going to try to stop you from doing things.
Okay.
And Martin is, his deck is like, well, I have all these ways to find out if the coast is clear, and if it's not, I'm going to strip those cards out of your hand and make the coast clear, and then I'm going to resolve a learn, and then I'm going to kill you. Like,
yeah, I like it.
That's pretty much his plan. So I feel like this favors Martin.
Martin's, he is no stranger to a control deck either. He likes teachings a lot. I know you do.
Yeah.
So in other formats, he's played many a control deck. I think that he's going to have a very good idea for what Lance is trying to do. He's going to have a plan in his head about the things that he needs to play around. Like, he's got a lot of experience being on the other side of the table here, and I think it's going to help him out a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense. And these players do know each other's deck lists, so there's no surprises there. They do receive deck lists in the top 8 so that they all can, mentally prepare and get an idea of what exactly their opponent is going to be trying to do. So.
All right, so why don't we talk about the Allurn combo a little bit?
Okay.
We talked about it earlier in coverage, but people come and go, and maybe they haven't seen it. This isn't one of the more common decks that you see here in Legacy.
Yeah, meanwhile, we'll just say the only thing that's actually been happening here is a brainstorm has resolved and lands have been played. So I know sometimes, personally, when I'm at home, sometimes I put on the coverage and listen and can't watch. Like if I'm driving, I will actually put it on,
I do
on
that
my
too.
iPhone. Yeah,
I do that too.
So I can listen. So I want to make sure we get the play-by-play for those of you who can't look at the screen.
Absolutely.
Right now, Lance, Conrad, and Martin, both with 2 lands in play.
Yeah, one brainstorm for Martin is in the graveyard.
And a couple fetches.
Yeah.
So the way Allurn works, Martin's going to play Allurn. Now, this is the key card. It's a green enchantment, costs green, green 2. And players, now this effect is symmetrical, players can cast creatures with converted mana cost 3 or less for free, and is as if they had flash.
Yeah.
So Martin gets that down, and generally all he really needs to do is play, okay, let's see, there's Allurn. Okay, we're gonna actually,
Wow, he just runs an Allurn right in there?
Runs the Allurn out there, plays a
Spell Pierce.
Okay, so Lance has a Spell Pierce for it. Martin, I believe that means he has multiple Allurns or some Eternal Witnesses to get those back. So
I don't think it matters, but Lance did just draw a Entreat the Angels, but he just put it right into his hand.
Wow.
Like, I don't know if he can, I can't see the rest of his hand, but wouldn't you at least consider making an angel there?
I would consider it. I would have paused on it. I don't think Lance did.
Yeah, I think he just sort of drew it.
Now, see, this is what's scary, though, because if, Lance can go ahead and entreat all he wants, and if Martin just goes off during his turn, doesn't matter. Like, attacking, Martin's not trying to attack. Like, we saw him attack earlier,
but I mean, again, it's worth considering, right?
Oh, yeah. Because if Martin can't do it yet, then you have an opportunity to play.
Right, or if you have a way to force a will in your hand so that you can prevent Martin from doing something on his turn, that kind of thing. All right, so Snapcaster is going to come down for the Spell Pierce on Intuition, but that's going to get Force a Will by Martin.
Yeah, so it's interesting here. What I think actually happened was I believe the Snapcaster is being forced, not the Spell Pierce.
Right.
Okay, so...
Which is how you do it.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
All right, so Jace is going to get exiled to a Force of Will on Lance's side of the table now, and it looks like that Intuition is going to get pierced. Or not yet. Snapcaster Mage resolves, he says, sure. Target, not that.
I think they're trying to clarify something
whether we were... because a lot of times people say, Snapcaster, flashback this, and then somebody goes counter it, and it's like, wait, what's on the stack?
Where's the stack ending up here?
It should be that Martin went to counter the Snapcaster Mage itself. But.
So Snapcaster ends up resolving.
But then he plays a land after?
Yeah, that's awkward.
Couldn't he have just paid for the Spell Pierce with that land?
Yes.
Okay.
And he passes back. Lance is going to go ahead and get in for 2.
Right.
Flooded Strand.
So
from
that's
Lance.
Frustrating.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, you got to be kicking yourself if you're Martin there, right?
Yeah, if you actually had the land drop.
Yeah. Anyway, so Allurn, it comes down. Then usually the next card to come in is Imperial Recruiter.
Yeah. Well, really, all he needs is Allurn,
Cavern
Harpy, and Parasitic Strix.
Right.
Now, what ends up, as you said, what usually happens is Imperial Recruiter is involved in there. Imperial Recruiter is a creature tutor. It just searches for a creature. So
well, not just for a creature. It has to be power 2 or less, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
2 or 3 or
for
less
little creatures.
Yeah. But
So-
all of the creatures that make up this combo fit that description.
Yeah, the entire deck is built to be able to be tutorable with Imperial Recruiter. Yeah, it's power 2 or less. Yes.
Right.
So okay,
Right,
we're going
and
to see
this
it.
is one right here.
Yeah, so Alluring
And
comes
so
into play,
Alluring is
resolves.
down.
Imperial Recruiter is now cast.
Resolve. So now what he
Resolve.
gets to do is he gets to search his library for a creature with with power 2 or less. He's going to get another Imperial Recruiter. He's going to play it.
He's going to get
Another Imperial Recruiter, play it, search up another Imperial Recruiter. Then he's going to play, what is that thing called
That's
again?
a Dreamstalker.
A
So-
Dreamstalker.
which causes him to return a permanent he controls to his hand. So he returns a recruiter, he replays it, searches up Cavern Harpy, which he plays, which forces him to return. See, this is very fast. There's Cavern Harpy.
Yeah,
Leave
so
that on the screen for now.
Yeah,
Cavern
so
Harpy comes
the
into
combo
play.
just happened.
Yeah, so
Martin just won that game. It was so fast.
So Cavern Harpy, as you can see, when it comes into play, return a blue or black creature you control to its owner's hand. So you now return the Dreamstalker. Right, and then you replay the Dreamstalker, which now requires you to return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. So you return a Recruiter again.
Yep.
And
Play
then
it for free.
play that
because of
again for
Alluring.
free. Search for Parasitic Strix. Now, can you put that on screen? Parasitic Strix is basically
It's a 2 and a blue for a 2/2 flying. Yeah,
there
here
it is. So the important part is when it comes into play, if you control a black permanent, and you will because you have Cavern Harpy, you drain them for 2.
Yeah.
And then Cavern Harpy's other ability is you can pay 1 life to return it to your hand.
Yep.
So
Then play it again
and then
for
you play it
free.
again for free, returning the Parasitic Strix because the Cavern Harpy forces you to return a blue or black permanent. Parasitic Strix comes back, you replay the Strix.
You control a black permanent. You drain
them
for
for
2.
2, and it just goes back and forth between Parasitic Strix and Cavern Harpy.
Right.
So it's an infinite kind of loop there. For every time you activate the ability, you drain them for 2. So you drain them for 2 and you pay 1 life. So basically you gain a life for every time you activate it, and you hit them for 2 for every time you activate it. So
And I can see where that goes.
yeah, so and Martin demonstrates his combo there, and you can see how quickly it can happen.
I'm curious to see what happened because we saw Martin just say Alluring, does it resolve? It didn't.
Right.
Now I think he had a pretty good idea that one wasn't going to resolve. But then we see him fight for an intuition, but not play a land beforehand and have a Force of Will battle, ultimately losing it to a Spell Pierce, and then he doesn't get to resolve intuition, and then he went off the next turn.
Yeah,
so was
I
he
wonder,
baiting these things out?
That's what I wonder. Because obviously if he has 2 lands in play, the Spell Pierce doesn't happen. He does not. There's no Force of Will battle over the Spell Pierce. But at the same time, yeah, was he just trying to get his opponent to get the Spell Pierce and then try to Force of Will fight, and none of it even mattered?
And he's just trying to deplete all of the counters because he actually had the Alluring in his hand the whole time anyway?
I think so.
Okay.
So
it was an interesting
At least that's
play.
my guess. Or he just top decked Alluring and was like, hey, lucky me.
and just forgot to play his land or whatever?
Yeah, I mean,
Possible.
it could be. I would love to ask him about it and find out, was that an accident or was it actually a well-crafted kind of Jedi mind trick?
I might be able to find out between rounds.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So we're going to give away some premium. We're going to ask you guys a question, and what will happen is you tweet the answer to our trivia question with the hashtag SCG Premium, which you can see down there. Man, I'm always missing. I'm no weatherman. SCG Premium hashtag, and 1 random correct answer will win 3 months of premium, and we'll give away 6 months of premium during the semifinals, and then a Gen Con badge in the finals. So, all right, so this is not the first tournament that Star City has had this weekend. We had a Standard Open series.
We did. In fact, it ended this morning.
It did. Ended it seems like so long ago.
It was a while ago.
It was, yeah.
It does seem like yesterday, though, doesn't it?
Right, it seems like so long. It's like we've been talking about Legacy for so long, but even though the day went by so fast. But anyway, so the trivia question for 3 months of free premium is, who won the Standard Open today? Pretty simple.
Yeah.
You can find that answer somewhere online. Just Google it. Who won the Standard Open today?
You could probably go to starcitygames.com.
That's a possible source. You could put in the
there.
card search who won the Standard Open today. You could try that. That might work. Or just type in.
They have a pretty advanced search feature, but I don't think it's going to capture that one.
Gristlebrand and then click Buy Now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's me.
That's you. That's
Yeah.
right. That's what I was trying to say. But
Yes.
so you could win some premium. So let's look at these lists. Now, Martin's deck is a combo deck. He obviously knows he's playing against a control deck here, and I don't know that there's that much that he needs to bring in. I think that's very similar to what we've been saying before. He's got 3 extra copies of Thoughtseize he could bring in.
Those are going to come in for sure.
That's about all I'm certain that he's bringing in.
Yeah.
Because most of his other stuff does not. He doesn't. It's not going to really affect Mars.
No,
He's got
no.
Aethersworn Cannons,
That's not gonna
Yixlid
do
Jailer,
it.
like Peacekeeper. I mean, Peacekeeper. Okay, so what you are going to fog his retreat? That's just not going to be. That's just not happening very often. I don't think it's.
I mean, if the Peacekeeper, like, I think you want to play Peacekeeper when it's for sure just going to stay.
Yeah, and
You
that's
know,
just,
there's some decks that it's pretty likely to just stay on board, but not against this one.
He has Harmonic Sliver, which is the naturalized sliver. Is that? No,
Yeah, it's the
so
one green-white one.
Maybe you destroy a top when. Or I mean, you can't destroy it, but get him to flip it or something. That seems weak.
Now, I see that there's 3 counterbalance in the sideboard here for Lance.
Mm-hmm.
He does play 4 Sensei's Divining Tops, but no counterbalances main, it looks like.
Yeah, so he could move the counterbalances in, and but the funny thing is, what I think about the cards that he wants to counter are Lurin, so he's going to need like a Jace on top, right?
Yep.
Or he wants like a 3 on top for like Imperial.
Entreat's a 3.
Oh yeah, Entreat would work. Right. So he needs like a 3 on top for something like Imperial Recruiter, or you know what I mean, like where he can just they can be played for free, but they can't resolve.
Yeah.
And he's going to want to consistently keep that on top, so that if a Lurin's in play, that can't even happen.
Yeah.
That's a fair option. He can put Terminus, an additional Terminus in, which can disrupt everything. His opponent can, Imperial Recruiter, like, I guess once you can respond to like the one of the
he has to do it
recruiters
before the actual combo comes down, because that can just be responded to
recycles,
infinitely. Yeah. But you can do it with.
I'm trying to figure out if there's a window for Terminus.
Sure. I mean, if you're doing it at instant speed, you mean, like you brainstorm.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Terminus
Like
or whatever?
yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, like you set it up on top of your library, and then
sure.
And
he
then
plays
top
Imperial
into it or
Recruiter.
something.
Trigger goes on the stack to search for something else. Do it right there.
Right. You could do it there, but
no. But then
he can still search for whatever it is he's getting. He just gets another recruiter,
and
it
just
starts
stays in his
all over
hand,
again.
and then Terminus goes, and then he just replays it.
Yeah, like he's.
What about for the last recruiter?
I still think, the last recruiter.
What does the last recruiter get? See, this
is
very complex.
Exactly. See, the last recruiter will get something like the Dreamstalker, which will return another recruiter.
Yeah.
Will return it to his hand. It's just
so that's not consistent enough. I don't think that Terminus is going to be an answer that he's going to be able to do.
Yeah,
here.
it's hard to find a window for Terminus to actually work. I thought it would work, but it doesn't seem like it.
No.
I actually wonder if he boards the Terminus out.
Oh, hey, we're
now,
back down at the feature match here, and Lance is going to lead off with a Flooded Strand. Looks like we're going to see a Tropical Island from Martin. Just thinking it over. Nope, he's going to crack a Verdant Catacombs.
Verdant Catacombs.
Indeed. It is that time. Looks like he's going to go for an Underground Sea here. So, Brainstorm?
Yeah, I mean, Martin's deck, like, I really...
Oh, how
about
Thoughtseize
You?
So that was definitely going to come when we knew it. All right, so we get a good look at Lance's hand here. And it looks like Island, Caracas. Yep, Jace, Force, and Plow.
Yeah, so...
That is not an island, though. That's a Snapcaster Island, Caracas.
Oh, you're right. I thought it was an island, too. It's very similarly colored to the way that other island is.
So, I mean, I can't really predict what Martin's going to take, just because, I mean, I would say the Force of Will, just...
Yeah, I think you just go ahead and just take the counter spell.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing that's really relevant at the moment, but Martin knows his hand and what his plan coming up is. And that's what he's going to base his decision on. I see a Cabal Therapy in Martin's hand.
Yeah, so it's almost like he can take what he wants.
There's a Brainstorm. There's a Force of Will at the back there. I don't think he has a combo piece, so I didn't see an Allure or anything.
No, he's going to have to dig to set things up, but he's You know, the only thing that's really that threatening for Martin is, you know, Lance countering his spells at this point. You know, like he's got some time to deal with that Jace, and you know, to me that means I'll just Cabal Therapy your Jace. You know, like take your counter spell, you know, your one force of will, and then I'm gonna, you know, therapy Jace if Jace is a problem.
I mean, he's only got he's got a lot of time to take care of Jace here, right? I mean, Jace is not going to come down
for a while. Yeah.
For a while. It kind of depends on also what creatures Martin has, right? Because he can therapy, but he also needs to get a creature so he can flash it back and get full value.
I feel like
Therapy.
Swords to Plowshares can interact.
All right, so we're going to brainstorm in response, and I know this trick. This is so he's going to hide the cards that he wants to. He doesn't want to expose to Cabal Therapy.
Yeah. So brainstorm draws him 3. I thought he drew another plow, but I think it was actually the other end of his hand.
Yep, there's an Entreat the Angels there. I don't think he wants that right now.
Not at all.
I mean, does Martin care about Entreat the Angels? Not at this point.
Yeah, I would put the Entreat back.
You would? Even, I mean, you don't mind if he takes that, do you?
Well, he's just going to see it, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, it's just I guess making one Angel could be a plan, but otherwise he's quite a few mana away from really getting too big. All right, so Jace the Mind Sculptor was named by Martin. It gets discarded, and it's
now he has a counterspell. Swords to Plowshares, Caracas, and Island.
Okay, so that's interesting.
Therapy did name Jace, yes. Just to confirm.
Does he have a creature? No, right? I know he has a Brainstorm in his hand. I think he has a Daze as well. Does Martin play Daze? No.
No Daze.
So it's just a Brainstorm there. Force of Will.
So Terminus in response, this is Paul Martin on Twitter, mentions playing Terminus in response to the Cavern Harpy bounce trigger, since it's not in his hand to keep the combo going. I think that works.
Okay.
But I mean, these are like such small windows and it's such a tough battle.
Yeah, I wonder how much of an advantage Alurin, another Brainstorm, I wonder how much an advantage Alurin gets by being a little bit offbeat.
Yeah, I think a lot of advantage. I think the fact that, you know, if we were seeing a lot more Allurins all the time, people would know how to fight it, and it wouldn't be, you know, people would have kind of more preparation for it. But part of it is just like not knowing exactly where the windows are to stop and disrupt the combo. Besides countering
you have to
Allurin.
explain to your opponent, you know, this is how my combo works. This is what I'm doing. I mean, that's probably means you're at a pretty big advantage, right?
Yeah. Now something, and I don't know if you pointed at it, but Lance does have access to 4 copies of Surgical Extraction. So
he's got 4 of them?
If he brought those in and has one available, when Martin, like if Martin goes like Intuition for Allurin,
how does that work?
You go ahead and extract the Allurin before you can cast it. Like he Intuitions for 3 Allurins, puts 2 in the yard, and you extract.
Oh, to get the one out of his hand.
You get all of the Allurins out of his deck.
Well, but the other 3 are in the, or 2 of them are in the yard. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you extract the one in the yard, and that's it. That's the entire combo. I don't think you can win with Allurin.
Well, I mean, he can beat down.
Yeah,
he's got a bunch of 1/1s for
little
3
guys, right?
But it's not a good long-term plan versus Lance's deck. Yeah.
So that's one way of fighting.
And interestingly, Lance can brute force it as well. You know, he can go for it, get it countered. He has Snapcaster Mage, you know, in his deck, or he can just do it again.
Still feels like Martin has such an advantage in being able to use cards like Thoughtseize, Probe, and Cabal Therapy to just make sure that Lance doesn't have something like Extraction. So.
Yep. We see
There's
a
a
Caracas,
Caracas.
aka plains.
Yeah.
Non-basic plains.
Martin has 4 copies of Cabal Therapy main deck.
Yep. Sensei's Divining Top comes down for Lance. It's going to help. Draw a card.
And, all right,
See a Cavern
Brainstorm
Harpy
here.
there.
Yeah, I think it's his second one, unless he just drew one off of the brain. I think he may have put one back with
I think he
Brainstorm
did
and then
too,
drew it
yeah.
again. So there's a Brainstorm. 1, 2, 3. Sees
Force and an
Brainstorm
Allurin.
and an Allurin, yeah.
All right.
I think this match is done. I don't know what Lance.
Well, I mean, I don't think that Martin has a recruiter, so he's going to need to piece together the rest of
That's
the
true. I'm
combo.
sorry.
Here.
Yeah.
I
He's
see he
got
has
Dreamstalker.
a Dreamstalker. Yep.
It's hard to see his whole hand, but there's definitely not a recruiter there.
No. Those stick out. White border and red.
Yeah, they're the only non-land white border cards, I believe, in Martin's deck. Now, it's possible that he has the Parasitic Strix. We know he has the Harpy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he could just skip all the searching and just win.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to cast Allurin this turn anyway, though. He hasn't hit his land drop for the turn, but he's used it.
I still don't think he has his land drop. I can't see.
Yeah. Nothing like the bad news from Brainstorm, right? Where you just see that you're not getting a land.
The bad news Brainstorm.
Yeah. Does he not have another land here?
He has a Dreamstalker.
He's just going to play it for value here?
He's got to return a land.
He's going to read that.
Yeah, he's just trying to make sure you can play it. It's not creature, so returns, replays.
Replays, and then is he just going to sack it to Cabal Therapy, or what's going to happen here?
That's something, yeah. I mean, that's a nice.
He can Brainstorm again, but that's not getting him anywhere, right? It's getting him one deeper than he was before. That's not going to do it.
So apparently one of the Merfolk decks is into the top 4. So all right, so Lance is going to Swords to Plowshares on the Dreamstalker.
That's interesting.
And now he's using top. Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, I guess knowing that there's a Cabal Therapy there, maybe figures he's going to lose it anyway.
Josh Sherrod.
Okay, so Josh Sherrod into the top 4.
He's in the semis.
So Lance just hits his land drop and passes back.
And Martin is still stuck. He now has a Cavern Harpy, but he's ready to keep digging.
Yeah, so there's
All right,
Brainstorm.
I saw a Misty Rainforest.
Okay, so there's Force, I believe.
Martin's hand looks pretty spicy here.
Okay.
I think he has. Does he have double? Yeah, double Force of Will. Triple? At least double.
I believe it's double Force, or it could be an Intuition in there.
I'm pretty.
We're seeing such a. I think it's Force though.
All right, land drop achieved.
And there's the Misty that you saw.
Yep. It's interesting that Martin's trying to set up a turn to do something just overtly powerful, where Lance is trying to just basically stop him. All right, so entreat.
Off
He's going to
the top.
entreat. Well, oh, I see what you mean.
So he entreats off the top. Yeah,
off
like
the divining top.
Divining top, exactly. He activates it to flip it, draws entreat during Martin's turn, and of course it is Miracle.
And now is it 2? Or are we going to see 2 angels here?
I think, I think so. I believe it's only 4 lands there. So Martin, though, obviously has the option to just counter this with at least one of the Force of Wills he has. We're pretty sure he has 2.
Does he care? It's a 3-turn clock. Certainly not irrelevant, but if Martin plans on winning through alternate means,
he does have Intuition. So
that is an Intuition. Okay.
Maybe it's just Force Intuition that he's got. I may be mistaken as far as the number of Force of Wills he's got in his hand. We know he has 1. We know he has 1 Intuition. I don't see anything else resembling
You're
force
right.
or
Yep,
intuition.
it's just that one last card, so he just has the one force.
Thinking about it, thinking about it. I mean, it's tough because you're like, do I really want to be facing a Broodmate Dragon right here? You know, like, and it's happening at the end of Martin's turn, so that's 8. That represents 8 damage.
Right now, like.
It looks like it was 3, so you can't see there must be a land out there off the side. So that's even more reason to think about it.
All right,
and that's going to knock Martin to 6 this turn if he doesn't have, another way to interact. And I don't really think he does. He's not in the business of dealing with opposing creatures.
No, I think his plan is just to intuition here and get any combo, get a recruiter and try to go off. He's got a Force of Will backup, and I think he's just going to go for it.
Yeah, saving the Force of Will as backup for his own combo rather than dealing with Lance's entreats.
Exactly.
Also, a very scary proposition if Lance had a way to fight over that force and still resolve the entreat.
Yeah, because we've seen Lance have. All right, so the turn is being passed. He's going to just go ahead and crack the fetch right now.
And we do see Martin now down to 5 life.
So he is in a position where he needs to go off this next turn. All right, so Spell Pierce your intuition. So is Martin forced to force here? Oh, he does have 2, doesn't he?
He's Spell Piercing Allurin, right? You said intuition, didn't you?
Oh, he didn't use intuition?
He didn't use intuition.
I thought he was going to end step intuition. Okay.
No, it looks like he didn't. He just cracked the fetch and just goes ahead and goes hardcast Allurin. And now here's where I would really expect him to use the Force. Use the Force. Sometimes it just pops out.
I don't blame
something about midi-chlorians or something. He's kind of got to use it here. I mean, otherwise, what is he saving it for?
So he must need the intuition to pitch then.
And there's a counter
spell. And there's a straight counter spell, and that's the game.
So
wow, Lance evens it up at 1-1 here.
Yeah, I mean that's encouraging, surprised. I think, because I wanted to I'm actually very very happy to see a game 3 between both of these decks. I wasn't sure, Martin's deck seems so robust. I think it's really hard to interact with. Obviously what you need to do is put 12 power worth of dudes on the table and have 2 counter spells
on his turn and attack and have counter spell
like
back.
12 power worth of haste guys. Yeah, I mean. It's tough. I actually would like
Lance's
to know.
deck can do powerful things. There's no doubt about that.
I would like to know what Martin lost to today, if anything. But I believe he was 6-1-1 at best. I think.
I think it was X1 as well. I don't know what he lost to.
So what did he lose to? I mean, really, it's just about keeping Allurin off the table. But it seems like Martin's deck is set up to make sure that if that happens, he's got backups like Eternal Witness, or he's just got an extra Allurin, or he's got counters to fight over. It seems like
I felt like Martin had a lot of the momentum early in that game.
Yeah, I thought he did too.
I don't know. I kind of thought he was going to win, but it looks like making 12 power at instant speed in the air with haste.
Yeah,
is a little better than I remembered.
But Lance just has 2 entreats in his 75, so he needed to hit that. He needed to hit that pretty much at that point. Not as if Martin was about to go off, but it's like how many more turns? Yeah, exactly. He was getting there. How many more turns was Lance going to have if he had not cast entreat there? He was able to fight over the Allurin at that point, but Martin may not have gone for the Allurin at that point if if he wasn't facing down lethal across the table. So
I think Martin would have. Martin's pretty patient so far in this.
That's what I'm saying.
Match.
So I don't think he would have gone for the Allurin when he did. I think
you're right.
It was more like, I need to go for this now, or else I just lose next turn.
I think you're definitely right.
What else am I going to do? So I think he would have been more likely to try to deal with the disruption that Lance was presenting and the counter spells, and then gone for it. So Entreat the Angels at that point, I think was pretty clutch.
Agree.
So
yeah. Who do you like in the final game?
Still, I like Martin. I mean, I feel like Martin's just set up to deal with this.
Cabal Therapy's kind of.
We still have another game before we announce the Twitter winner. So, but you know what's
funny?
But
we know who it is.
Yeah, we know who it is. And you know what's really weird? Is
What?
I was looking at the Twitters, and that's one of the names that I looked at, and I was like, for some reason that stood out to me. That's odd that I mentally
That's
predicted
interesting. Are you going to remember it?
Yes.
Okay,
I
I
already
will too.
remember it. Okay. So I don't know. It's just one of those things where you notice something. Like,
Well, when
that's
you're
weird.
scroll and it
yeah,
stands
I just
out?
happened to see one Twitter name. I don't remember any of the other ones I saw, but
Yeah.
weird. I was preordaining the answer there.
How's that Red
I miss
Bull?
preordain.
Oh,
I was
dude, me
when I was
too.
indexing Twitter. I don't.
I miss preordained too. But we get to
Yeah.
play it here. All right, it looks like they're getting shuffled up or about to resolve
This is the last
mulligans here.
call for standing seal. If you have not yet collected your prizes, come on
Let's
up.
see. No more Twitter comments. Oh, here's
No,
something.
you just got one.
If Martin had cast that therapy from his hand, naming the counterspell he knew was there, he wins that game, says Taylor Pratt.
Yeah.
He did know that counterspell was there. That's true. I don't. Did he have the? Would he have
I
had
didn't
to
see
do
a
it?
therapy in his hand. Did you? I don't think he had one in his hand.
No, he had one in the yard.
He had one in the yard, but you need a creature on board to do that. I did not see a therapy in Martin's hand.
All right, so both players just land drop go. So that's interesting. We found out Martin's only loss was to Josh Sarad, who we know is now into the semifinals. So
Yeah.
very interesting that
Again, this is just the good old Merfolk list.
Yeah, and that's Merfolk.
Putting in work.
And just some fetch lands happening, not really much
No.
else.
Sometimes. Okay, Coiling Oracle comes down for Martin, so he's already on the grind you out plan. This land is going to come into play,
Love
Boom.
it. Nice acceleration.
and he's just going to pass.
Coiling Oracle is so good.
It's so sweet. I mean, it isn't high impact in the sense that, like,
It's just a
there's
1/1 that
certainly
draws
more
a card
powerful things that you could
or
be
ramps
doing.
you. Like
yeah, but
I
it's
don't know.
awesome.
I love it. I hope
So
that sees a reprint.
I was just going to ask you
Yeah.
that. Are you?
I
Is
would
this
love
high
to
on your
see it.
list?
It is just because it's just a nice card. It's not super powerful.
Oh,
Now
I think it's just fantastic.
there's
I'd like to
a,
play that card in limited. All right, Flooded Strand. Now, I see he's got a Brainstorm. I also see he has a Sensei's Divining Top. I don't know what to play here. I mean, he's got a fetch land, so, like, shuffling can happen. Whoop. Changing his mind. Looks like he's pretty torn about what to play here as well.
Yeah, because next turn Martin can try to cast Allurn, so Lance needs
right,
to
top.
be able to fight over an Allurn.
Okay.
We don't know what Martin has. We don't know if he has Allurn or a fourth land drop, although I suspect he has a fourth land drop.
Cabal
I thought I
Therapy
saw
is
it.
something he'd be very interested in right now. Brainstorm.
So yeah,
I really
Martin's
think
gonna
he's looking
brainstorm.
for a therapy here. I don't know if he has the alert.
Well, he hits his land drop for sure. I don't know if he has the Allurn either. Close to the vest.
Yeah.
And can't quite see what's happening there. Okay. Oh, they were talking about the one. You know, Taylor thought that there was a Cabal Therapy in his hand, but even if not, he had the one from the yard. Because remember, he apparently passed the turn, and that's when Lance swords to plowshares on the Dreamstalker, which
Okay.
was odd. I thought he was going to use the Dreamstalker to cast the flashback to Cabal Therapy. We mentioned it a little bit,
Yeah.
but you know, I thought maybe Lance responded to like the Dreamstalker by coming into play by just plowing it, not giving Martin the opportunity to cast a sorcery. Not entirely clear there because we can't hear what the players are saying, but so maybe Martin missed an opportunity to do that. Maybe he didn't have the opportunity. So that was last game, and here we are in Game 3 of the quarterfinals, fighting to find out who is going into the semis. And at this
Kind of a
point,
wacky Learn combo deck. This has been around for a while, I'm told, but
you don't see it very often.
No, you don't see it that often.
It's that imperial recruiter barrier that people talk about all the time.
Yep.
That's why it rolls off the tongue.
All right, Underground, C.
Now Martin has Lance on a 20-turn clock right now,
Yes,
so
he
Lance
does.
is going to have
Oracle
to find an
beatdown.
answer.
Plan A. All right, 2 mana, and that's going to be a Life from the Loam, and he's going to try to get back both of
And
his
it
fetch
resolves.
lands here, and it does.
Fetches come back.
I mean, countering a Life from the Loam is like an exercise in futility.
Absolutely.
Beats.
So here comes the Coiling Oracle beatdown.
All right, so Martin is building up his mana base pretty significantly here.
But if he keeps cracking fetches at the rate he has been, Lance wins this race.
I think Martin might slow down in that
think
end
he
of
might.
the spectrum. Yeah.
We have seen stranger things.
Tundra. And we're going to see a Brainstorm on end step here. He's got one in his hand. Maybe just a top activation. Nope,
Oh,
actual
a Brainstorm
Brainstorm.
end step. That's interesting. Why not top and then fetch? Oh, I mean, actually, never mind. He couldn't top and then fetch.
No, yeah, he used that mana to cast the top.
Yeah. In that case, I may have. Saved the Brainstorm. I don't know. Well, looks like there's a counterbalance.
So he
in
did bring
Lance's
in the
hand.
counterbalances out of the board. And he already has the top down. That's a pretty sweet.
A nice little soft lock.
Yeah, a little soft
happening
lock
here.
there.
Yeah. That basically means Lance can perpetually counter one casting cost spells just because of Divining Top. So that means Cabal Therapy. So that's why Martin's going to fight over this. He removes Dreamstalker to Force of Will, the counterbalance. Lance is going to fight back and removing counterbalance to Force of Will. So we've got a Force of Will battle here. So at this point,
Force fight?
Force fight, and I think,
Did Lance win the force fight?
I believe Lance, at this point, Lance is, unless Martin responds, Lance has won the Force of Will battle. The force of Lance's will was stronger than the force of Martin's will.
It's going to be bad for Martin GK here if Lance can get a 3-drop on top. It can lock out his combo.
Recruiters,
And
yeah,
you're
but I
right.
mean, yeah, so it resolves. But what actually may even be more relevant is the fact that no Cabal therapies, no duresses, no Thoughtseize, none of those can resolve. No Gitaxian Probe, none of that can resolve because top will just go on top of the
That's right.
library if Lance needs it there. And I
Is there a
believe,
recruiter in Martin's hand? Yeah, there is.
what's even sicker is having the access to. Okay, so there's
Well, this is interesting. So Martin's dredging back life from the loam.
Dredge's back life from the loam.
So
Coiling Oracle beatdown.
Oracle beatdown is the plan A. He's got another one. He's going to have 5 mana, right? So he could resolve
So Coiling Oracle.
one
Let's
or the other.
Now don't miss your counterbalance trigger. That is why it's there. I mean, do you want to look? Do you want to blind flip at least? Or does he just want to let it resolve?
Well, he might
is there
have
a lot
counter
of thinking here?
Oh, he just lets it
He
resolve.
lets it resolve. Okay.
Wait, shouldn't you? Oh, does he already know what's on top? Is that why?
I think he does.
He just doesn't want to show it.
Yeah,
All right,
I think
so
he's
Cabal
probably like,
Therapy
that's fine.
now comes in. Now,
And
if Martin does Cabal Therapy here, Lance has the option of spinning his top, putting it on top of his library to counter it. Does that set back Lance considerably? I mean, he does have to re-resolve his Sensei's Divining Top. Is that a big deal?
I don't think it's a huge deal, but it is relevant. You know,
Okay.
I mean, he's going to have to do it, but I guess the idea is,
Top just got activated.
yeah. So and this is not really in response to anything. It may have just been a pass of the turn. Yeah, end of turn top activation, pretty standard.
Double top.
Now, I believe what was on top was Jace the Mind Sculptor, according to Twitter. That's what was. We know he did have the Jace,
Okay.
but can't quite see for sure. Can't confirm it. I may be thinking of the Jace from last game that I know he had, so I actually might be erroneous information. But according to B. Parisi on Twitter, Jace the Mind Sculptor's on top.
Okay.
Or was on top, and Lance just potentially drew it or put it back on top with the top at the end of Martin's turn.
So Martin is just going through his library by cracking fetch after fetch here, and seems pretty happy to just be dredging and fetching and doing that whole thing. But like, where does this lead?
At this point, it leads to Coiling Oracle beatdown. It's
He's got
8-turn clock
he's
right
got
now.
2 of them now.
That's the plan he's on right now. But I think, and Lance's plan seems to be keep Jace the Mind Sculptor on the top at all times,
Just
so
to
that
prevent
Allurin
from
never
coming down?
hits the battlefield. I mean, that's a fair.
So I have a question I'm not sure about for Allurin.
Mhm.
I'm reading the Oracle text on it, and it says any player may play creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less without paying their mana and as though they had flash. Is that the same thing as casting? I thought that we use the word cast now.
We do. That's interesting that says that in Gather.
In Gather, and I also checked it on another site, and it's also that way.
Huh.
So,
But it's not
like,
put
is it
into play. I
cast-
think
it's not
supposed
putting
to
it
be.
into play.
Right, exactly. It's
But I
supposed.
don't
It's
know if it's
casting, so it
casted.
should be cast.
I
but
thought that they changed instances of play this to cast this, but apparently it didn't.
I thought so too. But anyway, the Light from the Loam was successfully countered by counterbalance with a Snapcaster Mage on top.
All right.
Martin is
And
now.
He has now, so now he gets to resolve an intuition here.
Yeah.
All right, so Martin has put himself in a position where he can get around this countertop situation and get an intuition off. So that's good. Martin is advancing his plan, but so is he just going to get Allurins? I don't know exactly what he has in his hand. He's going to get a combo piece that he doesn't have, but now he still has to go through the chore of actually getting it onto the table.
Yeah, and I believe now, Lance playing around with the cards in his hand, I did notice, I think there was a Jace there.
Okay.
It looked like a Jace. So
he would have needed a brainstorm.
he needs a brainstorm to put it back if he wants the Allurin.
All right, he got 3 different things. He got Venser, Shaper, Savant.
Coiling
he got
Oracle.
Volrath Stronghold,
is
and
that-
he got the Sliver.
Oh, the Harmonic Sliver.
Harmonic Sliver.
Sorry, the gold card looked kind of like a Coiling
So
Oracle. Yes,
either
Harmonic
way,
Sliver.
so it looks like he's going to get the Venser, Shaper, Savant here. So he
Which can
can
bounce the
end step bounce the top, or excuse me,
Bounce the
bounce the
counterbalance.
counterbalance, and then that'll clear the path for him to try to go off.
Yeah, and it's interesting because that's another 4 cost. So if Lance is able to put the
Jace.
Jace back on top, that's just going to counter the Venser.
It's just unlikely from Martin's standpoint, right?
Because Martin can't cast that Venser now. He's tapped out.
Also, Martin can set up a turn because doesn't Venser return a spell or permanent to its owner's hand?
Yes.
Martin also has Cabal Therapy in his hand, so he can return Counterbalance, for example,
And then immediately Cabal
just
Therapy.
get it.
Yeah. And that may be his exact plan. Now, I'm having trouble seeing Lance's hand, but I know there's a Swords in there.
There's Swords of Plowshares, yeah.
Pretty sure I saw Jace at one point.
Okay. Now that was a top activation last turn, so if he had a Jace in his hand before, it's still there.
Yeah, it is possible with 4 copies of Jace in the deck or in the main deck that Lance has a Jace in his hand and a Jace on the top. So apparently the red, white, black Stoneblade Team Italia list also now into the semifinals.
All right, looks like we're deep in the tank here. All
Yeah.
right, so attack. Bring it to 13. So Martin's just going to say go here.
Well, he can cast that Venser whenever he wants. It has
It
flash.
does have flash, yeah.
No need to cast it here. Lance is going to activate top. Oh
And
no, he's gonna.
He's gonna Swords to Plowshares one of the Coiling Oracles. Now, you know, if Martin was willing to just keep attacking with those until Lance did something, that plan is gone. Not necessarily completely gone, but it's definitely marginalized. Lance has the ability to hold his cards completely perpendicular to the table.
Yeah,
like
that's like his superpower.
I've ever covered.
That's what I was about to say. Like both of
man.
these guys, like Martin holds his cards so that they touch his chest.
Yes.
And you occasionally see what he's doing. And Lance will hold them right out into the table, but so perpendicular to the camera that you can't see what they are.
Right. These are two talented individuals doing what they do best.
Yeah. So there was a top activation there, and Lance saw 3 cards that we did not. And now he's untapping.
Yeah.
Draws, plays Polluted Delta, which apparently was on
fourth
top.
land of the turn. Oh, that was on the top. Okay, so I guess he just
Yeah, he just picked it up off the top and threw it into play. And passes back. Coiling Oracle untaps.
So Venser is still hanging around.
Yeah. Martin waiting for an opportunity.
I wonder if Martin's starting to think about, you know, getting that Cabal therapy going before the other Coiling Oracle gets plowed, but I guess that's, he can't get in the way of that anyway since it's a sorcery.
He has, I saw there's therapy, there's definitely Recruiter, I believe in another, I believe an Allurin is in his hand. Wow, I am stumbling on my words. There's a Life in the Loam. And yeah, he was deciding whether or not he wanted to dredge. That was all his upkeep, all that tanking. And he dredges back
Cabal therapy.
Life from the Loam, and the Cabal therapy's in the yard. And now
well,
he's going to hard cast Cabal therapy.
Is this how you would do it? Because this does open up the Coiling Oracle to getting Swords to Plowshared here, right? Where he doesn't get to flash back.
Yeah, that's.
It kind of depends on how much value you put on having that ability to do it later, or just that guy on the battlefield. So we're going to try to find out what was named here.
Right now, maybe nothing, because Lance hasn't even tried to like do anything with flipping the top or spinning the top or anything, you know.
So right now, Cabal Therapy's on the stack.
Yeah, I think.
And so Lance is deciding if he wants to respond in any way.
I believe that's what the tanking is here.
Okay.
For those of you just joining us, I'm Joey Pasco, here with Marshall Sutcliffe, and we're doing the commentary here on Martin Goldman-Kirst versus Lance Conrad in the quarterfinals of the Legacy portion of the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Seattle.
Yeah, we have a pretty sweet match here. This is game 3. Martin Goldman-Kirst is on Allurin combo, trying to resolve the 4-mana enchantment, and then a whole bunch of creatures for free.
Yeah, to eventually parasitic
Strix
repeatedly to drain his opponent.
Yep, and Lance is on Blue-White Miracles. Yes, you are reading that right. He's got a fairly traditional Blue-White control shell for Legacy, but he's worked in a couple of Miracle cards, mainly Entreat the Angels. Is it only Entreat the Angels?
Terminus as well.
Oh yeah, Terminus as well. So Terminus and Entreat, and he uses Entreat as his main win con, and I think Terminus is pretty straightforward. All right, so that was a 5-drop on top, but he is just going to spin his top so that it counters it. He's going to attack with the Coiling Oracle. Now we know what's on top of his library.
What did he get off the top? Did you see it?
Yeah, it was a Force of Will.
Okay.
It was a Force of Will.
So we now know Lance has that in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Martin does not. That's correct, right? You only saw it when it went into Lance's hand, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he actually revealed it or not. I kind of feel like he might have. He doesn't have to.
He shouldn't have had to reveal it. He was drawing it off the top.
Yeah, right. So he activates his top for 1 mana, looks, sees that it's not what he wants, flips the top, and then draws. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no revealing in that sequence, so. I mean, I'm sure Martin.
The reveal came with the counterbalance, which is obviously what Martin knows is the divining top is on top.
Right, which is why it's still flipped upwards.
Yeah, it's almost like, yeah, you know it's there. That's what I'm drawing next. We'll just leave it right there.
Yep.
Shout out to Mark the Guy 21, who's tweeted his answer 4 times consecutively.
All right. He did it in different order.
Yeah, he changed up the wording every time, like the
Yeah.
way he did it. But
Well played. I got to give a shout out to the guy I played on Magic Online on my break as well. He beat me.
yeah, shout out to that guy.
That guy.
He doesn't know who he is. Well, he knows
Well,
who he is.
he asked me, he says, "Is it you?" I said, that would depend entirely on who you is.
So there's a top activation there at the end.
All right.
Because we know Lance actually had
So there's
2 tops
definitely
there.
a Jace the Mind Sculptor in Lance's hand. I don't know if he has a Brainstorm, though. All right, so top
Top number
go.
2.
Yep. Still on Coiling Oracle beatdown plan here.
Yeah, I was joking about the Coiling Oracle beatdown plan, Martin. You
you
don't
know,
need to. I mean, it's cool, but like
when he had 2 of them, I think it was a lot more reasonable.
yeah,
Like
I was
Lance,
joking the first time. Yeah.
Lance, did Swords to Plowshare 1 because I think taking 2 a turn was too much. Now, when he's at 12 life and he starts taking 1 a turn, I think he can live with that.
Yeah.
Now, Lance is still sitting on a fetch land, so he still has, like, no matter what gets played, he still has, like, 1 just raw,
Yeah, I mean,
fetch.
he can activate top, check it out. If he doesn't like it, shuffle away, activate the other top.
Right.
Or actually just spin the same top, but he's got both tops there where he can even put 1 top on the top and then still counter a second spell
Ooh.
by spinning the second top.
Do you see what he just drew?
No, I did not.
He drew what you were talking about earlier, Surgical Extraction.
Oh, nice. Very nice. So I don't know that there's an learn in Martin's yard, but
No. There's
just
Cabal
yet.
Therapy, which I don't think can be done. All right,
oh
so
my gosh,
now
is it possible he intuitions? Well, I don't think he's going to intuition for a learn because he's got 1. But I'm pretty sure he's got
This could
1.
be very interesting. Martin, the feeling that I get is that Martin's not, like, he seems to be content to do these other things and kind of grind down Lance. He's being really, really patient. Oop.
Is he getting
Will. It looks like he's getting
Oh no, I
different
think he was
things.
just shifting things around. I think he's actually just mixing.
I think he's
like,
getting fetch lands to the front.
fetch lines definitely went to the front there. I wonder if he was just seeing stuff clumped together and he was trying to mix it
He
up.
gets 3 fetch lands with it. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
So
I mean, the funny thing about
he's
that
got
is
him
it makes
outmanaged
his draws,
significantly.
Yeah, it makes his draws all more and more live.
Yeah. But I mean, that's normally you expect a lot more from an intuition than that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I'm gonna make my draws more live by thinning out my library.
Yeah, pretty much. It is kind of odd, but
Yeah.
he's gone ahead and got the 1 fetch land, I believe, and then he just cracked it. So yeah, there's the one that's in his hand. I think did he have another one in play? Is that what it was?
Yeah, he cracked
just
it
cracked the one
while I'm
I'm
shuffling.
shuffling, yeah. So
He
the
probably
one that he
wanted
got
to-
off the intuition is now in his hand.
Yeah, and there it is.
There it is, yeah.
Attack you. Go to 9.
And
And he's just
there's
gonna
a
hard
recruiter.
cast it. Like, honestly, like, is he just on the beatdown plan here?
It's possible. I mean, this can get countered, but the thing is, Lance's 3s are very limited. We know there's entreat, but if he can have an entreat on top, he's not leaving it on top. You know what I mean?
What other 3s does he have? Nothing?
I don't see anything.
There isn't. There aren't any.
So he goes Force of Will.
Force of Will,
Removing
exiling
Jace.
Jace. This is on the recruiter?
This is on the recruiter.
Well, I think that Martin can live with that. I think Martin also takes that cue to know that that he doesn't have a 3 either in his deck or available. All right,
Now-
surgical extraction on Imperial Recruiter.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So that could be big.
Also,
that's going to
that's-
make
that's-
it real tough for
Did
Martin.
he pay for it? Yeah, he did pay the black for it. All right,
Yeah.
we can't see what else Martin had, but it looks like Lance is just insta shuffling. He went and found the recruiters. He can see Martin's hand, and he's just shuffling now.
Now, I was talking to Joe Bono earlier, this is his deck that Martin's playing
He
with.
does own that deck. Yep.
I also believe that this may be the first time Martin's played this deck. I feel like he may have said something along the
I
lines
don't
of
know.
Martin's actually not played this deck before
That's
today.
entirely possible. Martin is the type of guy that just pick up a deck like this and play it. Like, I would never do that.
Yeah, I could
I mean,
be
I'd play it
mixing
for
up
fun,
stories. I could, because I talked to a lot of players today, between rounds and stuff.
Yeah,
So
I
it's,
don't know what the actual answer is, but I certainly wouldn't be shocked to hear that that's the case.
all right, so top activated, 1, 2, 3, put him back. All right, and look at what's on top. Is that a Snapcaster?
Is it really?
He could, I mean, he could Snapcaster Surgical Extraction on like a Lurn if a Lurn actually hits the yard. I just, at this point, Martin's being very safe, especially after a Surgical Extraction. Martin is probably way less likely to be throwing a Lurns away.
And the beatdown plan continues. Lance is now at 7.
Yeah, it's actually
It's
kind
really
of funny
this-
that Coiling Oracle
Martin has
go
been content.
all.
Yeah, to just thin his
way.
library, build up his mana base, and just keep attacking with the Coiling Oracle. He's like, look, you're going to have to kill this at some point. And if Lance decides to, tap out or something,
That
Go.
Coiling
All right, so-
Oracle is doing a passable Marshawn Lynch impression, I think.
It was in
for
beast
all you
mode.
Seattle.
yeah, but it's not anymore.
Yeah.
Because now there's a big blocker. I mean, we know that that particular blocker doesn't play for the Saints, but
No.
all right, untap, draw a card for the turn. It's an Allurin. He now has 2 Allurins.
See, now this is what I mean. I think it was probably still right for Lance to go ahead and get the Imperial Recruit. It's going to make things so much difficult on Martin. But if he hadn't, I wonder if Martin would just go ahead and just try to resolve an Allurin because hey, I've got a backup, right? I've got a second one, and then Surgical Extraction would probably just wreck Martin, except for his Coiling Oracle beatdown plan, which Martin
is over.
has. I mean, which Lance
Lance
has put the
has
brakes
once
on.
again said go. These guys are both being extremely patient.
And see, being this patient, I think starts to favor Lance.
Do you feel
because
that momentum swinging back?
it feels
a
that
little
way
bit?
because he's gonna find an entreat at some point.
He has a Sensei's Divining Top.
He's digging like crazy. I mean, he's going to find and treat the Angels.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, he's also got a fetch land that can refresh those top cards, but he's happy to get whatever it is he's getting on top, he's fine with.
Mm-hmm.
But he can, yeah, keep him on camera. Thank you, Martin.
Martin's looking out for us there.
Yeah, so, yeah, he's eventually, I would think, going to find and entreat the Angels, and that's really gonna, at this point, look how many lands he has in play. What is he? Is it 6 lands?
Yeah, it's 6.
So he can miracle for 5 Angels. That's 20
I think
power.
Martin just drew a 3rd Allurin.
Artist Jason Fields,
Man.
before he checks out for the evening, he's going to be
Hopefully Martin doesn't have 8 cards in hand and decide to discard a Lurn.
any more of his work. See
I don't know that Lance has Snapcaster.
There's an
Oh,
Allurin.
okay.
All right, Lurn is
Let's
on
see
the
what's
stack.
happening. All right, well,
Now,
here's
I know
some
that
action.
Lance has a Spell Pierce.
Okay, so it looks like he's figuring out his mana. All right, so he has an Allurin on the stack. Taps 4.
Pay 4.
Okay. He's
still
still
thinking.
trying to figure out which lands to tap. Okay, so he's going with those.
All right. He still has a polluted delta there that he can crack. I don't know if he has any targets left for it.
Now, Lance.
Brainstorming or top?
No, he's going to use top. 1, 2, 3. Is there a Jace? Is there a Jace? He did that very quickly.
There is a
a Jace. Allurin is gone. If he has Snapcaster, Allurin is really gone because Lance, if Lance is patient here and doesn't just run it into something like a Spell Pierce, but he's got enough to pay. Now he doesn't have enough to pay for Spell Pierce.
He does.
He
does.
can't Snapcaster.
He
no,
can.
What is?
He has Snapcaster.
Oh, I
costs
saw
2,
the
he's
other
got
Delta.
2 other lands. Yeah.
That Delta's sneaking out
Yeah.
off screen there.
I mean, he would take 2 damage to do it that way. But
Yeah, now,
Okay, now
he can.
a second
If he has
factory?
Snapcaster Extraction on your Allurin, and I think that means Lance goes into the semis. He's gonna.
activate Factory. Okay.
This is interesting. Like I feel like Lance. I feel like if I'm Lance, I don't even play around. Like I want to resolve Extraction on your Allurin, and then that's just, what does Martin do there? He is actually on the little guy beatdown plan, and Lance can stop
Venser's
that
a
with
2/2.
yeah, Venser's a 2/2. I'm just saying, like that puts a puts the brakes. I mean, all right. So if he gets rid of the Allurans, he doesn't even have to worry about the combo. His Mishra's Factories play defense just fine against all these little guys, and Lance just either can get in incremental damage or get in some damage here and there, or he can dig for entreat, or both, kind of at the same time, getting damage until he finds entreat and can do a lot more.
Now Martin knows that there's a Jace on top, right? So
Yeah.
he can't Venser.
Right, he can't Venser, but he did resolve a Brainstorm there. Lance being very smart to just go ahead and let him Brainstorm, because I think flipping the top, it gets real awkward.
Yeah, oh, I see what you're saying.
If he puts the top on top to counter the, apparently there's not another one in there, is what I mean. Like, there's not another one drop to counter the Brainstorm.
I see, because then we're talking about starting to use up a couple of valuable fetch cracks and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, he wants that Jace to stay on top. He wants to be able to keep filtering it there to continually counter Lurin or Defensor he also knows is there. So now we have Thoughtseize. Now what does Lance have? Now at this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's got 6 mana untapped. He can easily go ahead and attempt a Surgical Extraction, a Snapcaster Surgical. So he's going to go ahead and top here.
And he's just going to spin the top.
Does he not have Snapcaster? I thought I saw it multiple times. He's got 3 in the deck. I mean,
he's got a Jace on top of his library. Like, he's not in a hurry. Like, Martin can't resolve Allurin or anything as long as he keeps, top mana up and a Jace, somewhere around the top of his library.
Yeah, I guess, but I'm also just like, I want to get rid of the Allurin so I don't have to keep this fiddling around with the top, so I have to keep Jace in the top three cards in my library all the time.
So it looks like in response to the top being spun, on the top of the deck to draw a card, Martin has Brainstormed.
That's a nice play.
Okay.
I mean, Lance could then respond with his
is still on the stack, and
right.
this thing's still on the stack. So this resolves. There's a top on. The trigger for Counterbalance resolves.
And Thoughtseize is successfully countered by Counterbalance, and the top on top.
Doesn't pay the life then, right? If it's countered.
That's right. Life from the loam now.
He's going to just keep grinding here.
I mean, but what is he grinding exactly at
this
point?
Know.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know what his plan is.
He's not. He needs to grind down Lance's life total, not his land. Getting.
Well, I mean,
the
he's
lands.
gaining advantage.
It's a lot of lands.
He's building a impressive land base here. Maybe he has.
Does he have something in his deck that's nice to hardcast that big? Is he gonna bonfire or something? Right. Like, what has he got in the deck that is that he needs that many lands for? He's not playing around Mana Leak. It's nice to be able to do a ton of stuff a turn, and that might be what it really all comes down to.
Well, I mean, look at that. When your opponent has Counterbalance top, right? Like, a lot of it is being able to play multiple cards that you need to resolve at different converted mana costs. Is that right?
That's the thing that makes the most sense to me that he's doing that. Disenchant on top, so counters the life from the loam. And now
Disenchant, does that work? I guess if there is a window, like we were talking about earlier, then it would work. I'm talking about with Allurin.
Oh, with Allurin, yeah. So it looks like he passes back here. Lance is going to spin the top. I feel like there's a lot of tension surrounding Allurin, and maybe this is all smoke and mirrors, and I'm focusing way too much attention on the Allurin part of the deck. But to me, that seems to be the crux of the deck.
You have seen that when he resolves that Allurin and gets one down, that he can just win. Like if he has a recruiter and an Allurin, the game's over.
Yeah. So my thought is, if I'm
now, he doesn't have any more recruiters, right? They got extractioned.
Okay, so he just milled away 2 more Allurins.
Okay.
So does he just have the 1 in hand? He does, I believe.
Okay, so he's got a life from the loam and an Allurin in hand?
I think so, yeah. I think because there was 1 in the yard, and I believe he must have put 2 back with Brainstorm. There's his fingers. There's life from the loam. Having a lot of trouble seeing what else is there. It's kind of dim under the tent, and I think that's part of it too.
Definitely a force of will. Definitely. That looks like. Is that an
I'm
intuition?
Yeah, there's force. There's Venser.
Venser, force,
Life from the Loam.
life from the
Alluren.
loam, Alluren.
Maybe Dreamstalker or something.
Yeah, that might be a Dreamstalker.
So anyway, what I'm saying is I feel like there's a lot of tension surrounding just the card Alluren, and Lance has potentially the opportunity to just get rid of the Alluren entirely.
Is that a Coiling Oracle?
What, in his hand?
Yeah.
I stopped looking. I was looking at what Lance is
Sorry,
doing.
I think
No,
it's a
cool.
Coiling Oracle.
Lance is topping here.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I just think you can get rid of the Alluren. If you can resolve surgical extraction on Alluren, then you can completely forget entirely about worrying about the entire Alluren combo at all.
And start advancing your
And
game plan
just-
with the Jason Mind Sculptor or
Yeah,
something like that.
start doing other things. Like, what is Martin's plan then? He has to literally beat down with Coiling Oracles and these tiny guys.
It does seem like that.
Martin is building up to a point, and I'm kind of thinking about it more and more. With this much mana, and Lance being only at 7, he can go, if he resolves them, cast Cavern Harpy and Parasitic Strix and bounce them back and forth enough to drain Lance a few times.
Sure.
So he's going to circumvent the attack phase again
Lance has had
without the Alluren entirely.
3 fetch lands on the table for a long time. He's saving them for top shenanigans, but also I think he's trying to protect that life total as much as humanly possible here. He keeps tapping his black mana, which takes away his ability to cast Surgical for, to actually pay for Surgical.
I think Lance is wasting a lot of time where he could be spending trying to win the game rather than
All right,
be
Alluren
safe from
is
Alluren.
attempting
Okay.
to be resolved here.
So this may just deal with the Allurens entirely, but he's got Eternal Witness, so that doesn't actually deal with him
All
entirely.
right, now Lance has tapped both of his factories here, so he could take a hit from the Oracle.
I think
We know that the Jace is still on top.
Okay,
here.
so there's the Jace. Reveals the Jace. Alluren now successfully countered.
Eric Lee, if you're in the room, please raise your hand.
Now, Lance also needs to be aware that there's an Eternal Witness in Martin's deck. They're in some number. May actually be just one.
It's just a 1-of.
Okay.
And now he sees the attack, gets in, drops Lance to 6 here.
Yeah, Martin apparently did miss an attack through the 2 tapped factories in a previous turn.
Okay.
So is this an intuition now from Martin? And that appears to be resolving. Or no, it's just a fetch. Wait, what is it?
I think it was just his last fetch there,
Okay.
the Catacombs.
There's an intuition there on top of his library.
Oh, okay.
I mean, on top of his graveyard, right?
I do see it. Although I think he's. Oh, okay. So we're gonna Cabal Therapy now. Is that what's happening? I just saw the.
There's a lot of reordering of the graveyards. That's I think where that intuition may have came from. It's kind
I don't
of
see anything
confusing
on the
things.
stack right now, but why did the Oracle die? It's gone. The only thing I can assume is a Cabal Therapy, right?
That's the only thing I can think of. But I don't see a Cabal Therapy.
There isn't one. And I
also
don't see one on the stack.
I didn't see a way that it got count. Or no, it's resolving. I guess the Cabal Therapy must be off screen.
Oh, okay.
That's my guess, because he probably went on flashback Cabal Therapy, and he sets it
All
out.
right. So
off
Flashback Cabal
camera.
indeed, but what was named?
We're gonna find out. But what we see is Disenchant, Snapcaster, Spell Pierce, named Force of Will.
Okay.
And is that double top?
There's definitely.
So does
one.
he have 4 tops?
1, 2, 3, 4.
2 in
plus
play and 2 in hand?
Spell person. Wow, 2 in play, 2 in hand.
I
Which is
think there
those
were
are
2 tops in
useless,
hand.
right? Like having 4 of them.
Well, I mean, he can
2's
counter 1-drops until the end of time.
Yeah.
Like,
But I think he only needs the 1 for that, right?
I mean,
Life
sort of, yeah.
from the Loam again. I wonder if Martin wishes he had like just a 1 of Wasteland somewhere in here.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, revealing counterbalance. So that is he's just gonna get a free counter on the, on the Life from the Loam. And since it is a 2-drop on top, Martin can't cast the Coiling Oracle that he has in his hand. I wonder how many cards Martin has in his graveyard at this point. All right.
There's an island.
Looks like factories are going to get in. Martin is at 11. Attack for just 2. Doesn't want to attack with both.
Take your time.
Martin should still have Venser. Venser is a 3-turn clock.
Yeah, it is actually. But Martin's going to go ahead and scoop him up.
Martin scooped it up?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think he must have just realized that he didn't have any outs left to win that game.
I guess so. I mean, his outs were just
I don't know
creatures,
how many cards
but I
in his
guess he
library
started to feel
as
like
well.
maybe there was just no real way of, he didn't really see a way to.
How many cards were in that library? It's still sitting there. It doesn't look like many, does it?
No, it doesn't. I guess that creature beatdown plan was just not something that he thought he could successfully do.
Yeah.
A fight he did not really want to fight, but hey, we're back. I'm Joey Pasco here with Marshall Sutcliffe of Limited Resources Podcast.
That match was insane.
It was.
It's funny because I just, after the initial plan of Allurin is kind of shelved,
there's nothing there.
I don't know. Is the plan actually play 1/1s and 1/1s for 2 and 1/1s for 3 and start turning them sideways? I mean, he did manage to whittle his life total down to 6.
Yeah,
I don't think his deck really had enough reach.
It's weird because he has, a bunch of creatures. What we know, looking at his deck, he has the 4 Coiling Oracles, which attack for 1. Dreamstalker, which attacks for 1. He's got the Recruiters, which were extracted. He's got Strix, which is a 2/2. He's got Venser, which is a 2/2. He's got Witness, which is a 2/2, I believe, right? I'm pretty sure Witness is a 2/2.
It's a 2/1.
2/1. That's why it sounded strange to me. Okay, but it's a 2-power guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's got guys that
Strix
can attack.
is a 2/2 flyer.
Right.
That's a huge beater in that situation.
Right. So dig to your guys and play them if the Allurin thing is not going to work. I'm surprised, and I'm also surprised that, on Lance's side, you saw how good Entreat the Angels is when he digs to it. He was doing a lot of his digging, was focusing, he kind of kept seeing the same cards. He really, I don't think, was seeing very many cards.
He was able to filter a land to the top every once in a while and play it.
Right.
But he didn't have that many lands. He had 7 lands or something by the end.